Welcome back. The Holiday Fresh Produce Distribution Initiative partnered with community-based organizations, faith-based groups, and elected officials to help support those in need. Now in its fifth year, Montefiore Einstein Associates donated and helped distribute 70,000 pounds of fresh produce to families across various locations. Please join me in welcoming the Director of Community Affairs at Montefiore Einstein, Yianna Justo. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Now, how did the idea for the Holiday Fresh Produce Initiative come about, and how has it evolved over the past 5 years?
Absolutely, great question. So the Healthy Holiday Initiative is really the cornerstone of our fresh produce distribution event, and it currently operates under the Community Affairs Department. There were a number of reasons that helped us to kind of initiate this 5 years ago. First, we wanted to highlight and underscore the commitment that we have as a system to building meaningful connections with the community members or between community members and the system. Also, we wanted to bring to light or just kind of address or help to address social determinants of health, in this case, food insecurity. And as we're all familiar, there are a number of turkey distributions that take place in our community. So we wanted to bring something fresh, something new to the table, and what better way than nutritious and high quality produce. So we started, as you mentioned, 5 years ago, and we were just at one or two sites distributing 10,000 pounds. So 5 years later, we just wrapped up our 2024 efforts, and we covered 8 sites and distributed 70,000 pounds. So we've grown substantially, and we've kind of just been building upon the success of years prior. So absolutely.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about this year's effort and how that event go?
Absolutely. We dealt with some cold weather, as we usually do, some rain, but it went great. Again, we really continue to build upon the success of years prior. This year in particular, we were really proud to introduce 2 new sites. One of them being St. Helena's Church in Parkchester, where we worked with the South Asian community. And then we also partnered with the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, which is our medical school. Particularly, we worked with the Community Service Learning Program. And it's essentially a curriculum where all incoming medical students are introduced to the communities that they will eventually serve as healthcare providers. So it was really just a full circle moment for them, because some of those community-based organizations that they work with throughout the year were some of the same organizations that came to pick up produce during that distribution day. So this year was just as successful as others, and we accomplished what we set out to do, which was distribute fresh produce and reach as many communities as possible.
Now, I want to highlight once again that your organization or this initiative was able to produce 70,000 pounds of fresh food, which I think is amazing. Can you talk about what that means for the community, especially as we talk about food insecurity, not just during the holidays, but especially, you feel that way a little bit more during the holidays?
Yeah, look, whether or not you celebrate the holidays, in this case, the Thanksgiving holiday, it's always a good time to give back, and it's always a good time to receive. This is just one of the ways in which, again, we really remind people that we are committed to building meaningful connections with them. We extend our care beyond the walls of the hospital. So we don't want to just see you when you're ill. We're also out there. We're also neighbors. We're also community members. And so, again, it feels great to distribute this during the holiday season and really just remind everyone of being grateful,
Now, can you talk about the importance behind the collaboration of community-based organizations, faith groups, and elected officials? And, how does that strengthen the program?
Look, our partners are what make this effort a reality. When they say that it takes a village, it really does take a village. Internally, we coordinate with our departments, right? There's a lot of logistics involved, a lot of planning involved. So a lot of our associates, a lot of our internal departments really step up to the plate and help us get this done. Our hosting sites welcome us and provide us the room really to engage with our audiences in a way that we usually or for the most part don't get to do. And then our partnerships with elected officials really help us to ensure that the program reaches those who need it the most.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about the Westchester Produce and what role they play in the program?
Absolutely. Westchester Produce, they're a locally owned company, family owned company, and really without them, there would be no fresh produce distribution. Mike and his team really understand what it means to us to pack not only quality produce, but culturally sensitive ones. And so they really truly understand that. They've been with us since the beginning of the program. And every single distribution that we have, the produce is picked up the day of, that morning. So Mike and his team are at the market at 4 or 5 in the morning for a delivery of 7 to 8 in the morning every single day that initiative takes place. So without Westchester Produce, it allows us to support local. It allows us to work with people that just get it. And really, without Westchester Produce, we wouldn't have a produce distribution.
Now, you briefly mentioned it, but I want to talk about it again because I think when we talk about food in the Bronx, we have to talk about the culturally rich, recipes that, people in our community create. So I understand that plantains, yuca, bok choy, those are
Yeah.
all things that are going to be included. Can you talk about the importance of just incorporating these cultural, ingredients so that people feel a little bit of home when they're, going to pick
Yeah.
up this food?
Look, when we're planning this, we start very early on. Springtime, I mean, we just wrapped up. We're about to start planning next year's. So when we sit down to strategize and think about these things, we really try to envision ourselves as the people who are receiving this, because at one point or another, we ourselves, have been participants, we've been recipients ourselves, but we really try to relate and let people know that we respect their values, we respect their customs, we respect their traditions. So once we're planning, once we're sitting there, we really want to think about the experience entirely, the quality of the bags that we're using, the quality of the produce, and again, just culturally sensitive items that they'll enjoy and that they know how to prepare.
Now, I understand there are also multilingual recipe cards. Can you tell me, what the feedback has been like from
Yeah.
people who are able to receive them?
Again, that kind of speaks to people feeling like we're thinking of them. The recipes, for the last 2 years, we've worked with nutrition experts at Montefiore Einstein to put these recipes together. So we more or less know ahead of time what we're going to get or what we're able to provide in terms of the produce. And so using that information, we build these recipes. This year we had a QR code. It kind of directed folks to a landing page. They were able to see the recipes in multiple languages. And so it's always a really positive thing. I think that, again, people really feel thought of and appreciated when they see so much detail go into this initiative.
Now, leaders like Marcos Crespo have mentioned that inadequate access to healthy food affects childhood development, but also chronic disease management. Can you elaborate on how this initiative supports preventative health care?
Absolutely. Preventative care is the best care. And initiatives like this really just help us to highlight the issue at hand. While we understand that we're not necessarily solving the issue, I think that introducing folks to healthy food options, quality food options, eventually create habits. A healthy diet is part of your short-term and your long-term care. And so, initiatives like this really kind of just help expose people and kind of allow them to enjoy, food that they will find otherwise, but in a very much different way. So we try to really bring health to the people. It's not really just about celebrating the holiday, but really meeting people where they are.
Now, as you look to the future, as we mentioned, it's been 5 years. What do you hope to see for the future of that? Or, do you hope that the program is able to expand in any way?
Look, we're always open to expanding. We're always open to bring in new ideas. There's always room for improvement and innovation. And for example, this year, cooking classes or demonstrations using those items that we distributed wasn't our radar. We couldn't get to do it, but it's something that we're looking to do. So, we're always challenging ourselves to bring in new ideas, new partners, new locations, new sites, and really allow this or allow ourselves to reach more people as much as we can.
Which I think would be amazing, and I'm definitely looking forward to that, because I think it's one thing to give people healthy food, but
Yeah.
you definitely have to show them how they can make it taste really good.
Absolutely.
So I think that would be really exciting.
Absolutely.
Now, how can other people, whether that's individuals, businesses, or just other community organizations, get involved or contribute to this initiative?
Look, as we've grown, logistics, planning, it's vast, it's grand. It really does take a village. It takes an army. And, we're always open to ideas, as I mentioned. And a lot of ideas, a lot of people approach us with ideas or suggestions or partnerships. And so we treat that on a case by case basis. But really the way in which that anyone can immediately help us really support this is just by spreading the word. Again, healthcare extends beyond the walls of the hospital. And so really talking about it and considering Montefiore Einstein as a partner, as a neighbor, rather than just, the place that you visit when you're ill, is really the way in which, anyone can help to support this.
Now, considering your role, how has this initiative shaped your perspective on the power of community-driven solutions to food insecurity?
Look, we can't do this alone. Every contributor, from the local print shop that prints the recipe cards, from our Westchester produce partners to our hosting sites, when you are at the event, when you're packing those bags, when CBOs are picking up those bags, something happens. The sense of gratitude that you feel, the sense of joy, the sense of pride, knowing that some of our associates are also neighbors, are also community members. That's really when you see the power of unity and the power of numbers come together. And we really try to leverage that. Again, we're committed to building these meaningful connections, and really all of this really just serves as a way for us to help create that bond. Not to just check off a box, but really build long-lasting partnerships and relationships with everyone who touches the initiative.
Well, with that, I want to thank you so much for joining us. This was a very important discussion. I know that in the work that I've been doing, I've been hearing food insecurity pop up a lot, and I think it's amazing to see organizations do what they can to help assist with the problem we're having now, but solutions that could help us in the future. So thank you so much for joining us.
Maybe you can help us volunteer next year.
Oh, of course, of course.
You're invited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
To keep up with all the amazing work Montefiore does, please follow them on Instagram at Montefiore Health System. Stay tuned, we have more for you right after this.